SK Vibemaker.
It's another one. Myself, SK Vibemaker. My interviews are hotter. And you know we like to bring through the best special guests. We ain't changing tradition anytime soon. Now, of course, man, we got a special guest in the virtual room. Who's in the virtual room today?
Tiana Blake.
Jeez, what's happening? Southeast London, right?
Yes, Southeast London raised.
I mean, 2020 was definitely a year of impact for you. A lot of people started talking about you. How would you kind of break down your musical journey thus far?
I would say it's definitely been a journey. I think I've kind of it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I think a lot of artists can relate in that sense though, because I think music it's not a straight path. There's not one way to kind of go. It's kind of just, you got to find your feet. So I think it's been a bit of a journey. When I was a little bit younger, I was a little bit worried because I didn't kind of know where to start or how to get into the industry and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's been a good journey. It's been smooth running. I've got the best team now. So yeah, I'm in a good place.
I mean, a lot of people have dreams of getting into the music industry. And what they find is when they get into the music industry, that it is quite different. Some people say it is exactly how they imagined it to be. From your experience in this music industry thus far, you know, a little over 12 months, you've been very active. How has it been from the inside as opposed to the outside? Is it everything you thought it would be, or is it quite different to how you imagined it to be?
It is a little bit different. I wouldn't say that I even kind of had a really detailed kind of view on what I thought it would be. Because I'm a type of person that kind of tries to take day by day. I think it gives me anxiety to kind of look too far into the future. But yeah, I would say it's a little bit different. It's a bit weird as well, because I think when you build a team, you go from having yourself, so one person, and those opinions, to kind of having a couple of different other opinions. So I think it's definitely a little bit different, and it's a dynamic to adapt to, for sure.
So let's talk about Cut Ties. This is a song which, you know, you got some clever wordplay, some clever songwriting in this song. You put, you know, mental health and mental well-being into this song. How easy or how much of a challenge was it for you to, you know, bare your soul and put it on your shoulder and put it into this song and make it very visible for everybody to hear and see?
I think so. In terms of writing it, that was quite easy and smooth for me, because I think the easiest or the best songs, or the easiest songs to write, would be the ones that kind of come straight from the heart and that are from true experiences, because that's not always how I write my music. Sometimes I write kind of, I don't know, I take inspiration from different things. So not all the time is it from my personal experiences, but I find that it's easier to write when it's straight from a personal experience.
I mean, do you handle a lot of your own songwriting responsibilities, or are you 50-50, or do you like to share a lot of it?
Yeah, so other than my recent single Interruption, I worked with a couple of writers on that one, but other than that, I write all my songs. I used to be quite I don't want to work with any co-writers. I want to just do all my own stuff. And then I kind of came out of that bubble with Interruption. I just thought, you know what, let me collab with some other people, because I think there's definitely some good that you can take out of those experiences. But yeah, for the most part, I do write everything.
Now on your IG, I noticed that it has a caption where it says you are an R&B devotee. Now, what does that mean, being an R&B devotee?
I kind of just look at it as I'm devoted to the craft. I'm devoted to the genre. It's what I grew up on. It's what I love. It's the music that I do. So yeah, I'm devoted to R&B.
You know, your sound seems very traditional R&B. I think that's pretty clear to see. Now, There are a lot of artists in the commonplace, both sides of the Atlantic, under the muse of being R&B, when in fact their songs are quite hip hop. In the production, there's a lot of hip hop influence in the production, and even the way that they've written the song. Some might say that it's more to that side than it is traditional R&B. Yeah. How do you feel about that, man? Sort of a lot of artists under the muse of R&B when they're not really making traditional R&B.
At the end of the day, we're in a new age. So like anything, all types of music, it's developed into a different sound. As I said before, I grew up on kind of old school R&B. That's what my mum was listening to, and that's what I love. So I try to take elements and pay homage and just take elements from that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think R&B, like a lot of other genres, has developed into a different sound.
Do you feel much of an obligation to preserve the Britishness in your sound? Some artists say they care about it. Other artists say they don't really care. How do you feel about it?
I don't think I have an obligation to kind of keep UK in my sound. I mean, obviously, I'm from the UK. I'm born and bred. I love the fact that I'm from the UK. So I think that's enough. I think when it comes to my music, it's influenced from the R&B that kind of started up in the US. So that's kind of like what I pay homage to. But as far as like being from the UK, yes, that's where I'm from. So I think that's enough, really.
On your track Monday, you talk about calling in sick to work. When was that point in time where you feel like music took over as the priority in your life, as opposed to having a job away from music?
I would say that's when I left my job. So obviously now I do music full time. I wrote this song when I was in my job before I started doing music full time. So yeah, as soon as I kind of left that, it was just a huge weight off my shoulders. Like, it's amazing to be able to commit all my time to something that I genuinely love.
I mean, was it easy getting to that point? Because a lot of new artists hope for that moment to get to where they're doing music full time and they're getting an income from music. What were some of the steps that you took, which were some of the key steps which moved you away from having to trade away from this music life?
Well, my journey happened just quite organically. So someone that used to manage me when I was 16, we ended up kind of just rekindling and working together again. So that's kind of how my journey came about. So it's just very organic. I didn't really kind of like, it was hard because I think it is hard, like as an up and coming artist, you don't really know what to do. And there isn't one path, but I would say just kind of like, always just keep experimenting, releasing music, network, just stay active with it. And then good things should come. But it always has to feel organic. I feel like the best relationships come from organic circumstances.
You have dual heritage, you have Jamaican and Irish heritage, your parents. Growing up and having both those heritage, did you find that there was a stronger pull from either side? Was it 50-50? Did you feel that one side accepted you more than the other? How was it dealing with that dynamic of having the mixed heritage of both Jamaican and Irish? I
think I'm lucky enough to have kind of like grown up in diverse areas. So it kind of was just, it's not something that I really thought about. I'm accepted by both sides. I love both sides. I haven't yet been to Jamaica though. That's definitely on the bucket list. But yeah, I love being mixed and being from two different countries.
Now, people can definitely see that you are an attractive, beautiful young lady. Colorism has been a topic of discussion for the last few years, very much so. Unlike before, it just seems like it's been a very big topic in the UK. Now, people have often spoken about light skin privilege. In your existence in this music game thus far, maybe even before that, do you feel that you've experienced much light skin privilege?
I don't know that I've experienced light skin privilege in music, but it's definitely a real thing. And I've definitely experienced it in life in general. I think because I have quite a tight knit team, I kind of just stick to my team, and it's kind of like we're all kind of from ethnic backgrounds, and we're all kind of, so it's I don't really experience that in the music industry, but I have definitely experienced it in real life, and it's a real thing.
How have you dealt with it?
I don't know that there's a way that I've dealt with it. It's kind of just something that happens, which is sad, really. It's very sad. I don't think that should be the way that it is, but I think that's something that's ingrained in people from way back, from slavery days. So I think we just kind of need to, I don't know, we need to spin that narrative on its head and just kind of get rid of that old narrative.
Willa talks.
Yeah, I think it's outdated.
A hot topic that I've been speaking to a lot of female artists about is a pressure which seems to be on younger female artists, which, unlike their male counterparts, is the pressure to sexualize their music, look glam all of the time, and possibly have body surgery. These are pressures that aren't really on the male counterparts. Have you felt much of that in the music industry thus far, and how have you dealt with it?
Not really. I think I definitely have days where like I want to tone up and probably try and be the healthiest version of myself. But surgery isn't for me personally. Like I would never go down that route. For the most part, I'm happy with what I have. And yeah, I would want to make any changes naturally.
Because it seems like it's so cool to be a bad bee when people don't necessarily celebrate maybe vulnerability or just being like more, I don't want to say normal, but being the opposite of a bad bee, if you know what I'm saying.
And who's to say being a bad bee isn't? I think being a bad bee is being natural. I think there's beauty in the fact that everyone's different. And I think the baddest version of that is your natural version. You know what I mean? That's kind of what you came here with. So I think that's the baddest version. But I think at the same time, people who do want to kind of like make changes and do that, do what you feel like you want to do. I'm definitely pro-choice. It's just a personal thing. I personally wouldn't make any crazy changes.
Now, some people might say it's early for you, seeing as, you know, 2020 was your year of impact. Have you started working on an album yet, or do you have a forthcoming project which is nearly finished?
Yeah, so I have. I've been working on a mixtape. I've been working on that for the longest, I'm such a perfectionist, like just trying to nitpick it and make sure everything's perfect, but that's really exciting. I'm looking to hopefully have that out by June, but we'll see how quickly I can kind of like fully wrap it up. But yeah, it's really exciting.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your long-term ambitions as a musician, as an artist, as a singer?
I definitely just want to be global. Like I want to share my music globally. I want to tour. I want to do live. Yeah, just go around the world and build supporters and meet supporters and just have fun with my career.
Interruption is your latest single, which is definitely making a lot of noise. You know what I'm saying? Now you got the line on there, which I don't know if everyone's noticing, but I definitely noticed this line. I don't know how much it says about your character, but you said your line is blowing up, vibrating. I could be in my room vibrating. No better than to keep me waiting. That was a bit of a naughty line, weren't it, Tiana?
Do you know what? Considering the concept of the song, I think the line suits the song perfectly. I definitely think like it's just a bit of sass, bit of, I don't know, just my inner diva coming out, I guess. But yeah, I think that's my favorite line of the whole song.
It's your favorite line?
I think so.
I mean, is it a real line? Is this what you're about? Is this like the kind of thing?
Do you know what? Not all of my songs. I think so. To me, music is an art form, right? And not all of my songs are directly personal experiences. So the way I write, I either write about personal experiences or in a storytelling way where I kind of like will use my imagination, think up a concept and kind of write up on that. Or I'll draw inspiration from like, I don't know, maybe friends and their experiences. So they're not always personal experiences, but they're definitely real experiences that a lot of people go through. And I think that's kind of what I'm about, just making music that people can relate to.
Is there much filter to Tiana Blake's music then, or do you just give it and say it exactly how you want to say it?
No, I don't think there's a filter. I think that's the beauty of music. I think it's a way to express. So why filter it?
Listen, they say my interviews are hotter. Tiana, the future is looking very bright. Hopefully we get to connect in, you know, the real life, not in the virtual room, maybe in 2022 or something like that. I don't know.
That would be dope.
Hopefully, you know what I'm saying?
SK Vibemaker.